Chapter 20. Prepare to rip open her deepest wounds. Ashley forced herself up off the deck chair and through the sliding glass door into the living room of the lake house. Regardless of the amount of pain her memories thrust upon her, she had to recall them. Brett deserved to know everything about her life, especially now. But along with the anguish she felt reliving her past, she also feared her confession would shatter what remained of her relationship with her fiance. Just when he seemed on the verge of forgiving her, she took a deep breath and then strode across the room toward Brett's chair. Instead of looking up, he kept his eyes glued to his laptop screen as his fingers danced across the keyboard. "I need to talk to you," she said. "It's something that can't wait." Brett met her gaze. "Another murder?" "Yes," she said, struggling to keep her composure, aware her distress showed on her face. "Not your dad?" Ashley shook her head. "My family's all right for now," she assured him. Her fiance closed his laptop and slid it onto the side table, giving her his full attention. She perched on the edge of the ottoman in front of his chair. "Ethan killed a doctor last night." "My doctor," she said. A puzzled look sprang to his face. "Your doctor? Why?" Images of the night she awoken in bed, her stomach cramping or her sheets soaked in blood, flooded Ashley's mind. Tears gushed from her eyes and flowed down her cheeks. Brett wrapped his arm around her. "Ashley, it's okay," he said. "You're safe. We're safe." She realized he assumed her tears were caused by fear, not knowing that her heart was being torn apart again, just as it had been all those years ago. She pulled away, needing to look into his eyes, to see his expression when she told him the truth. She wiped her face with the back of her hands. 9 years ago, when I was still married to Ethan," a sob hit her, forced her throat closed. Despite what she'd been told, the ache in her soul hadn't diminished over the course of the years. It was just as strong now. "Take your time," her fiancé said, his voice soft. Brett's compassion made revealing her secret even more difficult. She feared learning that she carried another man's child might hurt him. One of the reasons she waited so long. She always hoped she would be able to spare him the pain of finding out. Ashley caught her breath, wiped her tears again. "There's no easy way to say this. 9 years ago, I found out I was pregnant." She tried to convince herself that once the words were out, that she'd feel better, that she could be more objective, but instead, the wound felt even fresher. A stunned look crossed her fiancé's face, followed by ire. He shot up from the chair. "You're telling me you have a child?" he yelled. She shook her head. "No, I don't." "How could you hide this from me?" Brett paced in front of the fireplace as though he hadn't heard her denial. Was he even listening to her? "I don't have a child," she repeated. A new wave of tears hit her. "My baby died." The loss of her daughter had cut Ashley to the core, leaving a gash in her heart that would never heal. Her fiancé continued to pace as though he tuned her out completely. "Did you hear what I said?" she asked him. She was baring her soul to him, recounting the darkest hours of her life, and he wouldn't even respond. He stared at her, his eyes narrowed. "I heard you." Excuse me? She took several deep breaths in an attempt to calm down and then rose from the ottoman. She needed to explain about the murder. "I think Ethan blamed Dr. Fisher." "You know what, Ashley?" he interrupted. "I'm sick of this. You just keep betraying me. Oh my goodness, this dude." She hated that he saw the omission as betrayal, you know? Hated herself for causing him pain. Girl, you ain't caused him nothing. I'm sorry I kept my pregnancy from you, but can't you see how much it hurts me to talk about it? No. She wished he could understand, could realize that recalling her miscarriage shredded her soul even now, as though it was happening all over again. That doesn't matter, and that's it. Girl, Wedanova. Are you kidding me? Do you really think it doesn't matter that I lost a child? How could he be so callous? That's not what I mean. Well, you better mean what you say, he said. She couldn't believe he was discounting her feelings as though they were important. I don't know why you can't believe it. He's been doing it the whole time. Okay. Every time I think about what happened, about my baby, I feel a part of myself die. She felt it now, as though a chunk of her heart was disintegrating. He folded his arm across his chest. You still should have told me. It appeared as though he wasn't even willing to consider her side of the situation. You make it seem black and white, but it's not, she told him. I've spent years trying to forget that time in my life, to put my past behind me and move forward. Can't you understand that I wish those days had never happened? But they did, he said, and you didn't tell me. I don't know who you are anymore. Sort of real. If she had told him about her miscarriage when they first started dating, would it have changed anything? Would it have kept him from falling in love with her? She nodded. You're right. I can't wish those days away. They did happen, and they scarred me for life. But everything I've gone through had made me the person I am right now, the same person you fell in love with. I haven't changed. He stared at her, shook his head. I have to get out of here. Bye. I have to get out of here, he announced. Brett marched from the living room down the hall into the master bedroom. Ashley followed, watched him grab a carry-on suitcase. She didn't understand his reasoning. Why he decided to run away rather than staying and talking through their problems like an adult. It's not safe for you to leave, not with Ethan still out there, she said. He threw his suitcase on the bed. I don't give a damn about you. Oh, I don't give a damn about your ex-husband. She couldn't just let him go. The risk of Ethan finding him was too great. If you need space for a while, then let me leave. I'll go to my dad's house and you can stay here where it's safe. Brett shoved the stack of shirts into his carry-on. I don't care what you do, Ashley, he said. Go, stay, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm still leaving. I'm done. I am done. He is working with Ethan. Okay. He continues to pack. If he ain't working with Ethan, he just like Ethan. Okay. She wished he'd changed his mind. If he stayed at the lake house, Ethan would have a harder time locating him. Where are you going? She asked. He didn't reply. He closed his suitcase and jerked it from the bed. She followed him down the hallway and into the living room, wishing he would talk to her. So you don't want to tell me where you're going? He could at least have the decency of letting her know where he'd be in case something happened. I don't know yet, he finally said. He crammed his laptop into his carrying bag, flinging the strap over his shoulders. She followed him out the front door and onto the porch, wondering if there was anything she could say that would change his mind and get him to stay. Not being able to think of any words that would make a difference, she watched him throw his bag into the rental car. He climbed inside the driver's seat and slammed the door. As Brett sped down the driveway and onto the road, tears sprang to Ashley's eyes and spilled over her cheeks. Did he plan on coming back? Girl, don't worry about him. He ain't your protector. Or was this the end? It need be. She never dreamed their relationship would reach this point. How could a love that had felt so strong in the beginning end up being so fragile? Brett had complained that he didn't know who she was anymore. But in Ashley's eyes, he was the one who had changed. He wasn't the same man now as he'd been when he asked her to marry him. The change had been gradual. but she first noticed a difference in him about a month after they moved to Briarwood. They used to spend almost as much time talking over dinner as they did eating, but their conversation had dwindled. He stopped sharing the events of his day. He even stopped sharing his dreams for their future together. This whole time, girl, this whole time you knew. Okay. And every time Ashley had pressed him, asked him what was wrong, he always laughed it off and had changed the subject to something mundane. She chalked his behavior up to stress from working at a new location. We all do that. Figured he was just trying to settle in, but the tight bond they shared in Chattanooga had started to unravel not long after they unpacked their boxes. Wiping her tears, she trod back inside the house. Her face felt hot and her throat dry from crying. She headed into the kitchen for a bottle of water. When she opened the refrigerator door, the aroma from the tuna salad she brought for Brett wafted out. As soon as the odor hit her, Ashley's stomach somersaulted, making her want to throw up. She's pregnant. She grabbed the water, sat down at the kitchen table, and took a small sip. What was wrong with her? Pregnant. Why did her nerves have the power to make her feel so sick? Pregnant. She'd been having trouble eating for the past few days. Pregnant. Now just the smell of food made her nauseous. That hadn't happened since. Springing up from the table, she rushed out to the deck where she left her phone. She tapped open the calendar app, swiped back a month, and counted the days. Stunned, she sank onto the lounge chair. Ashley's period was late. Was she pregnant? There was no way she could wait to see the doctor. She had to find out now. That's the end. See you in the next chapter.